Hello, and welcome to Writing Tips with Rachel. Today I'm answering the question, does writing ever get any easier? There's a myth out there that says the longer you write, the better you get at it. Okay, that's not a myth. Practice makes progress, after all. But here's the real myth. The belief that as you get better at writing, it also gets easier. Nope. I'm sorry if I have to burst some hope-filled bubbles here, and I'll try to give you new hope-filled bubbles by the end of this video. Writing does not get easier with practice. I mean, in some instances it does. I now have sort of a process for getting a first draft written and revising it endlessly and perfecting it even longer. It's not all just loose ends flapping everywhere. So I suppose, technically, that's gotten easier. You know what hasn't gotten easier? Getting started. Or dragging myself through the middle, although I have gotten a little better at them. What I'm trying to say is the mechanics of writing get a little easier the longer we've been writing. But the thing that gets in all our ways, the headspace of writing, doesn't necessarily get much easier. Unless, you know I wouldn't leave you with something as hopeless as, it never gets any easier, didn't you? The truth is, our heads get used to the constant persistence after a while. We feel that initial little, oh, wow, this is a big commitment. I don't have the time. And we know we've done it before. We've found the time. We hear those voices that say, well, this idea is crap, and no one will ever want to read it. But we also know we've taken a crap idea to a brilliant idea before. So it stands to reason we can do it again. We're faced with a blank page and that little surge of panic that follows the thought, I don't know what to write. And we remember what Frank Choi, a Korean-American poet, said. Just start a sentence and hope brilliance will strike. And we get started, like we did last time. We just start a brainstorm and hope brilliance will strike. We just start a sentence and hope brilliance will strike. We just start a revision and hope brilliance will strike. And brilliance usually does, eventually, if we've put in the work and the time. Here are some ways we can help brilliance along. Number 1, write the first draft by hand. I know this is a radical ask. We live in the golden age of technology. Why would we write an entire book by hand? It takes so much longer. Sometimes that's the point. When we fly through scenes, we sometimes don't get everything out of them that we may have gotten if we'd slowed down a little. Maybe there's a significant look one character gave another that meant something ominous. Maybe there's some important dialogue we missed in our hurry to get all the words typed into the document. Maybe we're missing an entire point in our essay because we haven't slowed down enough to let it marinate. And besides that, scientific research indicates that we use a different part of our creative brain when we write by hand. So if you write the first draft by hand and all the other drafts by computer, you might be using your whole brain. How cool is that? So grab a notebook and start writing. If you don't want to write an entire book by hand, just write the first chapter. Number 2, put your composition away for a while. When you've finished a draft of whatever you're writing, I always recommend putting a draft aside for a while before picking it back up. Time and distance allow our brains to approach stories with fresh ideas. It also allows us to more clearly see problem areas and places that need fixing. How long should you put it away? Well, that kind of depends on your preference. My first drafts usually get put away for 3 or 4 months before I dust them back off. And hopefully, in that time, I've not only grown as a writer, but also as a person, and I can make vast improvements to the piece. Later drafts 2 through 6 or so, get put away for between 2 weeks and a month. Fresh eyes are valuable. Number 3, remember, you've been here before. The longer you practice writing and the more stories and compositions you complete from start to finish, the more likely you can remind yourself at any step of the process that you've been here before and you've written your way out. The exciting beginning, the not-so-thrilling middle. I know I've been dumping on middles, but truthfully, the more middles I write, the fonder I get of them. I'm not sure how to end this. You've been in all these places before, which means you can confidently and expertly, maybe, see yourself through them again. Writing comes with all kinds of resistance, but the more we practice, putting words on a page and pushing through that resistance, the better at it we get. And, dare I say it, the easier it all gets. Not easy, just easier, marginally. But we don't do it because it's easy, do we? We do it because we love it. That's it for today's Writing Tips with Rachel. I hope these tips have been helpful to you. I'd love to know your tips for finding brilliance in your writing. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for videos about books and life and more videos like this. Thanks for watching.